Story time. I hope you have a cup of tea ready. One time I gave just friendly advice, non-professional advice to a Japanese Hikikomori girl about weed, about doing weed, for the first time. So at the time, I once was working for this. I guess it's like an English learning app, and I was having English conversation classes as a private tutor with a Japanese Hiki person who had just recently graduated from a reputable university in the US. So I was working as an English tutor on this app, this site, and she had a couple of lessons with me. And my goal at the time was to try to help her maintain her fluency, practice interview questions, and expand her vocab so that in hopes of one day she could get a job for an American tech firm or IT company, right? So, from what I recall, she came to the US as an international student to get her master's in programming or software engineering, and immediately after graduating, she began working nearly full time for just different Japanese job agencies. And they would help her find all kinds of projects through Japanese firms and private individuals who needed just help with stuff that was basically related to her major. So front end work, web design, web dev, UI, UX, that things of that nature, that kind of stuff. And now, from what I remember, she was an extremely self-conscious girl. She was pretty vigilant, self-aware about her appearance. She was quite shy, anxious, and these are some common traits in fellow hikis. It's not something surprising, which is why during our interactions, her webcam was almost always off. And it just remained that way. And while she was mostly an introverted person by nature and a homebody, she didn't mind like hanging out with random friends and acquaintances she met in the States every once in a while. And so she still had a social life and would try to, unwind occasionally too. Anyway, one random day, she asked me if, whether it's just psychologically safe to smoke weed. Because she had some, American friends and acquaintances who did smoke weed quite a bit, and they told her straight up that, oh, it's 100% fine, it's 100% safe. Nothing bad will ever happen to you. It doesn't affect your memory, your thoughts, cognition, etc. All that stuff that you hear about is just BS and propaganda by anti-weed lawmakers and people. So just try it. It's not a big deal. Don't be shy. And if anything, we're here for you. We'll look after you, so nothing bad will happen. And so this suggestion was made to her during a time when she was experiencing burnout, mental fatigue from her work. And she had the kind of clients who were kind of nitpicky about the way they wanted things done and frequently changed their mind and whatnot about the work she was doing for them. And this kind of stuff isn't really new or surprising if you're familiar with freelancing and gig work. It's expected. And it was also part of the reason why she wanted to work for American companies in the first place too, besides higher pay, because she was kind of tired of the things she was dealing with some of these clients. And so, as someone who has smoked weed before, and I've taken edibles, marijuana drinks, I mostly have had fond, positive experiences with all kinds of marijuana products. And it didn't matter what the doses were for the most part. Anyway, I gave her my 2 cents based on my personal experience as well as my knowledge, because I do read about research related to different substances. It is something that's important to me, and I'm always curious about it. So, my advice to her was that there's a lot of people out there who don't actually react to weed in a positive manner at all. So, they don't react the same way as others do. And, sometimes this kind of experience for them is scarier than, say, getting drunk or getting high off other substances, like shrooms, for instance. And I told her as an acquaintance, as a complete stranger, that some people do experience things like panic attacks, freakouts, increased anxiety, worry issues, even paranoia, short term memory, loss and issues. And these things do happen because everyone is just built, wired differently, you know? So we don't really all react to substances, especially weed, in the same way. And this is a drug that has a profound, a great, a significant impact on our minds, for better or for worse. And some of these effects might sometimes even have permanent consequences. Anyway, so after that conversation, I don't really know whether or not she decided to give it a try. Maybe she did. I wouldn't be surprised. But the thing that really bugs me or bothers me is that there's always people out there who put peer pressure on others to try stuff that they have very little knowledge about themselves. And they don't really think about the possible consequences of said actions. And when it comes to mental health, right? Um, and substances, not just weed here, it can just affect people in totally different ways. So I think we should really just think twice before just pushing people to make such decisions, because we really don't know what could possibly happen to them, right? There's no guarantee of anything. And, one day I'll probably have some kind of segment or episode about mental health and substances, or mental health and weed, because it is a kind of complicated topic to discuss. It's not always like a black and white thing. There's a lot of gray involved in it, and I think it's good to kind of have like some kind of educational discussion about it, right? Based on just common knowledge and common sense. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Um, and I'll see you in the next one.